quickly our personal story. We launched Abodoo in Gorey, North Wexford. We were a Leo client. We've moved on to Enterprise Ireland now. And we actually launched a year and a quarter ago from a co-working space. And so we have a very personal story about the impact of co-working to our business. And also, speaking from my own experience, I've been in recruitment and talent acquisition for over 15 years. And 7-8 years ago, I, through illness, was restricted from working and I couldn't commute. And it's when I started to realise that there were a lot of professionals across the globe that could be working, but for whatever reason, if it's family commitments or childcare, that would be restricting them. And so the reason that we are here today is to talk about a successful pilot that we ran in Wexford with the support of Wexford Leo, Wexford County Council, where there was a real opportunity to identify the skills of County Wexford and present that to companies that were considering locations around the country. If we look right now at Ireland, yes, our unemployment rate is extremely low, which is brilliant, but we do still have 79 black spots of unemployment around the country. And mirroring that with co-working capacity, there's a real opportunity to position rural Ireland as an opportunity for companies. So we believe that there are 3 key pillars for inward investment into rural Ireland. The first being the office space, the capacity. On the Abodoo platform, we're now listing over 200 co-working spaces, so there are at least one in every county in Ireland. Secondly is connectivity, and we are improving. And like from my perspective, from a remote working perspective, there are no challenges to working in rural Ireland right now. Every single county has connectivity. Every single co-working space has the best connectivity. Personal story again, I moved back from England 4 years ago to 3 meg in the house. We now have 140 meg, so there's a real opportunity for companies. But the missing ingredient to the 3 key pillars that is required by Enterprise Ireland and the IDA is the skills and the talent. So we have to question, why do Facebook or Salesforce make announcements to employ people in Dublin when we have ample employed? We have 700,000 people across the country that could be employed that are skilled. And so what is missing is to be able to provide the data. So up until our pilot, the information that was provided on skills available was the census and alumni information from different colleges. However, the way we've built Abodoo, we capture a lot of data as to what people are looking for in terms of skills, salary expectations, connectivity. And Wexford requested us to be able to produce a talent heat map of the available skills, initially just on tech, to present to some companies that were looking at the co-working space in Gorey. We ran this pilot over 6 weeks. We ran marketing campaigns above and below the line. We had adverts on the back of buses, a mother and son, spend more time with the real boss. We had signs saying the train will miss you. And over the space of literally a few weeks, we had hundreds and hundreds of people registering. Now, we assumed it was going to be the tired, exhausted commuters from Wexford to Dublin, but it actually was a range. It was a range of people that were outside of the country that wanted to come home, that said they weren't coming home because when they looked at Dublin house prices, it was too expensive, but if they could go to Wexford, they would be back in a flash. We had people with mobility issues that just can't get to Dublin, really skilled parents in their mid to late 30s that just couldn't justify going to Dublin because when you add in childcare, an array of people registering, and some older people that weren't ready to retire. So we captured all of this, we data mined it, and we produced a talent heat map, which essentially gives granular information not only on the skills within tech, but exactly how many Python developers, how many Java developers. But the 2 surprising facts that came out of the talent heat map: 1, salary expectations were 10 to 20% lower than the cities. And I bring that up as a really big point for employers because many of them think they have to invest in a big way to embrace smart working. But the saving alone on expectations, because house prices are a third or a half, the other element that was a surprise to us were only half the people were actually in County Wexford. The other half were in Dublin or they were outside of the country saying that they wanted to move back. So we ran this case study this time last year, provided it to Leo, Enterprise Ireland, the Council and IDA. And in September of last year, the IDA successfully landed the first company into the Hatch Lab that intends to go on to employ hundreds of people in the next 3 years. But the interesting fact is that they want to embrace what we like to use the term smart working. I'm going to say something bold here. I don't know whether Ireland is ready for remote working because people make the assumption that it's working from home. I think we're ready for smart working. I think we're ready for more flexibility in our working model. And therefore, companies like the one that has landed in Gorey intend to let people work 2-3 days in the co-working capacity and then the other days at home. What that means is, even though the building there only has seating for 300, they could employ 500 because of this hot desking situation. So right now, we have worked and collaborated with LEOs, county councils, IDA, Enterprise Ireland, and we're currently doing a national roadshow with the Small Firms Association to educate people on a local level. And we are partnered with Grow Remote because they're doing a great job on a community level. We have a national partnership with Vodafone, educating people around smart working and educating businesses to the benefits and value. And we will be looking to support them in opening up more gigahubs around the country. On the gigahubs alone, in the last 2-3 years, 29 new companies have established from these gigahubs, and it's created 80 jobs, expected to be 200 in the next few years. But what are the overall benefits for smart working from a company's perspective? Well, people that sit in traffic all day, and as a small country, we now have 1.9 million people commuting every day for work, that are quite tired by the time they get to the office, especially if you throw children in the mix. Attrition improves by 40%. Globally, this has been proven when you embrace flexible working. Productivity goes up by 15%. And the overall savings to the company on average is 10,000 and to the individual is €7,000 a year. And that's €7,000 a year that they can save. Where will they spend it if they're staying in their local community? So where are we now with Abodoo and our missions with LEOs and so on? Well, LEOs have kindly invited us in April to present to all 31, which we're really looking forward to doing, on what we've done for Wexford and seeing if we can extend it. We're building technology to not just pull talent to heat maps, but in the future connect people on a local level. So we can do things like connect them in co-working spaces with similar skills to tie in what was said for Offaly. We're launching smart working retreats, a lovely way to build on tourism, leveraging these amazing co-working spaces that are coming up around the country, converted banks and so on, and let people holiday here and work here for a month. We are plugging in e-learning because the beauty about smart working and working from home, connectivity or co-working, you can learn from anywhere and upskill, and that will be the future. So the key benefits to Ireland, if we can really work out a national plan for remote or smart working. Well, a passion for me, improve air quality, the carbon emissions, the tax that's coming. We could do an amazing job in terms of reducing the emissions. The local economy spend will go up. We could reduce unemployment across the black spots and really give people family time back. Over the next few years, we would ask of the government the following. The first is any introductions that would help us fast-track the conversations that we're having county to county. The second is to look for the support around a national talent mapping skills. What we've done in Wexford, but let's extend it to the whole country, because that's sort of data we could provide companies in Dublin, Cork, and even companies that are working with the IDA about landing here in Ireland. And finally, support from the Disruptive Technology Fund in order to be able to mobilise the app that we're using that's currently on web and localise it so that it's key to each county, Wexford, Carlow and so on. With 42% of the population living in rural Ireland versus 27% across Europe, we have a real opportunity to become the smart working leader of the entire European Union, I believe. And we can reverse the brain drain. And in fact, we can bring some of the 500,000 people that have left our country in the last 10 years back. And finally, I end with referencing the fact that we've provided the Wexford Talent Heat Map, and we have copies here today with the pack. And I'll end with our motto, life is a journey, not a commute. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Vanessa. I now